Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? A lot going on today. You know what I'm saying? As I'm sure a lot of y'all been realizing and noticing. One of the most hot, the most popular topics that's being talked about right now is Gary Russell Jr. calling out Terence Crawford. He continues to approach a fight with Terence Crawford with aggression, with persistence, with certainty. He said that he had his second conversation with Al Heyman about this fight, and Gary Russell Jr. said that they have officially sent an offer to Terence Crawford. Now, I did a video few weeks back, talking about how, this fight really just don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to unpack that a little bit further. Initially, I was basically saying, I was asking the question, honestly, is Gary Russell Jr. clout chasing on Terence Crawford's name? Now, that was initially, because when it first hit me, I'm like, huh? Gary Russell Jr. trying to fight Terence Crawford at 147? What? Like, get the fuck out of here. That shit don't even make no sense. But the more and more he talks about this, it's like I'm forced to take him serious. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm forced to take him serious. Like, is he really, honestly serious about fighting Terence Crawford at welterweight? So, with him mentioning Al Heyman and saying that they having real conversations and they legitimately sent an offer to top ranking Team Crawford, it's like, damn, I got no choice but to take him serious now. So I don't have a choice but to actually unpack this shit, right? Okay, so first and foremost, if this shit were to happen, if Terence Crawford actually accepted this offer, this would be one of the most unprecedented things I've seen in my lifetime. Maybe I missed some shit that happened before me, or before I really started, watching boxing, for real, like really paying attention to what the hell's been going on. This would be probably the most unprecedented thing I've ever seen if this shit happened. Like, you gotta understand. Of course, we seen Manny Pacquiao come up gradually from fucking light flyweight and shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. But even Manny Pacquiao is naturally bigger than Gary Russell Jr. Probably about an inch taller, 3 inches longer reach. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just one aspect of it. Plus, again, Manny Pacquiao gradually worked his way up to 147, and he fought a couple of catch weights, 152, 151, some shit like that, right? You know what I'm saying? But this would be the most unprecedented thing. Like this, and don't even mention Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence. This shit is totally different. This is nothing like Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence. Mikey Garcia had fought at junior welterweight 140 3 times. He fought Adrian Broner at 140. He fought Robert Easter Jr. at 140. You know what I'm saying? And he fought somebody else at 140, I believe, before he went up there and fought Earl at 147. On top of that, he moved up just one weight class. You know what I'm saying? He was a champion at 140. He moved up one weight class, and Mikey Garcia was considered a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. Gary Russell ain't never fought at junior lightweight. He ain't never fought at lightweight. He ain't never fought at super lightweight, and he ain't never fought at welterweight. And he not on a pound-for-pound list. I love Gary Russell Jr. I love the hand speed, But I don't think Gary Russell Jr. This is my personal opinion. I don't view Gary Russell Jr. as a top 10 pound for pound fighter at no point in his career. I just don't. That's not what I see him as. He's a very skilled fighter, but I don't think he top 10 pound for pound. Now, he could go up there and beat Terence Crawford and prove me wrong. I give him all the credit in the world if he did that. But it's just too much. Like, how you going? I'm not saying that it's impossible. Anything can happen in boxing. This shit ain't impossible. Hell, Sean Porter beat Alexander Usyk in the amateurs. Think about that. Sean Porter beat Alexander Usyk in the fucking amateurs. Sean Porter is like 5'5", 5'6". This motherfucker Usyk is fighting at heavyweight. Anything can happen in boxing. Sean Porter beat Andre in the amateurs, I believe. He beat Danny Jacobs, I believe, in the amateurs. Anything can happen, but this ain't the damn amateurs, y'all. And I don't think Sean Porter right now can beat Usyk right now in the pros. Maybe he can. I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, like, I'm having a hard time, like, really taking this shit serious. And then looking at it from Terence Crawford's point of view, like, would this even do anything for him? Now, let's unpack that. Now, if Terence Crawford can't, we got to talk a little, it's so much to fucking talk about. Because Bo Mack went on some show and they just straight up shitted on Keith Thurman. They talking about, we don't want Keith Thurman. What? We don't want Kell Brook. What? Y'all shitting on Keith Thurman and Kell Brook. These are legitimate elite welterweights, which both have a great chance of beating Terence Crawford. I might favor Kell Brook even right now over Terence Crawford. I think both fights are 50-50. But I might favor Kell Brook over Terence Crawford, depending on the type of shape that I see Kell Brook come in. If I see him, in camp looking good, and then he show up at that weigh-in and he cut up like a bag of dope like he was when he fought Earl Spence, I might goddamn pick Kell Brook against Terence Crawford. But that's neither here nor there. Bo Mack, they dismissing these kind of guys, talking about they don't want nothing to do with them because they ain't got no belt. Well, shit. Y'all trying to get Manny Pacquiao. You know you can't fight Earl because Earl about to fight Danny Garcia. Manny Pacquiao, we don't know when he coming back. So if you don't get Manny Pacquiao, that automatically confirms that you not fight nobody with a belt, right? So you can't use the excuse that, we not fighting nobody. We not interested in fighting nobody with a belt if you can't get Earl and you can't get Manny. So you got to fight somebody unless you just going to sit around on the shelf and wait on Earl or Manny, which if you do that, I mean, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? You might lose me at that point, but more power to you if you just going to wait on Earl Spence and wait on Manny Pacquiao when you got guys out here, legitimate threats that's willing to fight you. You know what I'm saying? So circling back to the point I'm trying to make by mentioning that is that if they don't fight Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao, Earl Spence, and you end up fighting a Ray Robinson, a motherfucker that don't got a belt, you end up fighting somebody that's on the level of Green Machine again, or somebody that's, the same type of guys that he been fighting. If you fight somebody else like that, like anybody else on your resume, you might as well fight Gary Russell Jr. then. At that point, that's when I'll say, okay, bet, well, you ain't got nothing else to lose. You ain't got nothing else to lose. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I say Terence Crawford take the fight. Why not? What the fucking hell? This man called just like Mikey Garcia was knocking on the door trying to fight Earl Spence. He got what he wanted. Hey, now it's a story behind this shit. The fight might sell something. You know what I'm saying? I don't think is it pay-per-view? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't think it's pay-per-view. But unless the undercard is fucking ridiculous. But you can sell this fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a story behind it. It's beef there. It's history. You know, Gary Russell Jr. out there talking crazy. He said, shit, now we can finally see what would have happened if you would have fought back after I punched you in the mouth. And this man, Gary Russell Jr., talking greasy. You know what I'm saying? Greasy. Popeye's chicken greasy. He talking this shit right now. So, again, man, I'm just saying, like, it's hard for me to take this shit serious because I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, and I don't have no horse in the race within that shit. I don't give a fuck who wins that fight. I want to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, so I would hope that Terence Crawford don't slip up. But let's put all that aside. Bro, I think Terence Crawford would beat the dog shit out of Gary Russell Jr., bro. And that's no disrespect to Gary Russell Jr. I'm a fan. No disrespect whatsoever. Bro, I think Terence Crawford would hurt that man so bad, dog. It's literally nothing that I can see that Gary Russell gonna be able to do to stop Terence Crawford from beating his ass. I don't know what he gonna do. His foot movement ain't all that. I don't know if he think he finna go in there and outbox Terence Crawford. Like, no, you're not about to do that. Terence Crawford's arms too long. You know what I'm saying? He hit too damn hard. You might have faster hands, you know, but Terence Crawford, he got speed too, and he got better timing than you. And he can fight southpaw and orthodox. And he gonna be able to take your punch most likely. But can you take Terence Crawford punch? I don't think so. Man, I think Terence Crawford, that would probably be one of the worst ass whooping we seen on live TV. I'm just keeping it 100, man. But like I said, look, if Terence Crawford can't get nobody else in there, if they refuse to fight Kell Brook and Keith Thurman, which I don't fucking understand why. But if that was the case, honestly, I'd rather see Terence Crawford fight Gary Russell Jr. before he fight the Ray Robinson dude. I don't know nothing about, man. No disrespect to Ray Robinson, man, but I don't know nothing about this dude, man. Honestly, I'm not eager to watch that man in the ring. I'm just not. I don't want to see Ray Robinson fight. That's just me, my preference as a fan. I don't want to see Ray Robinson in the ring. I'd rather see him fight Gary Russell Jr. But that just don't make no sense to me. Y'all see how perplexed I am. Y'all see I'm struggling right now. So what I'm going to need y'all to do, help me out with this. Down in the comments, man, explain to me what the hell going on. What do y'all think should happen? Help me understand, because right now this shit just don't make no sense to me at all. Should Terence Crawford accept the offer to fight Gary Russell Jr.? Y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think, man. Contender regime, boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.